Ain't it great? You're listening to episode 8 of the Geekin On Walt Disney World podcast. Hey everybody, this is Curtis Stone, and I'm your host for the Geekin On Walt Disney World podcast. And today's show is all about planning your Disney World vacation. We're going to also answer a listener question related to planning. And, this week, I guess I have my other co-host here with me.
Yeah, don't forget about me.
The sweetest daughter in the world, Lindsay.
Great to be here, geeks.
Hi, Lindsay. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Dad.
All
Beautiful
right.
Saturday morning.
This week, Lindsay, I was reminded of a couple ways why we do this podcast. I was at work in the morning walking down the hall, and one of my coworkers' friends started saying, "Hey, Curtis, I'm going to Disney World."
Oh.
And of course, I'm the local
expert.
And she wanted some tips. But then I was also reminded, you get that other person who was actually walking along, was like, "Why are you going to Disney World again?"
There's always one.
But, we love to talk Disney World and share our stories, and it's always fun to do that. The other cute story was I was talking with a coworker, and he was teaching me a little computer program.
Yeah, because you're all geeks there.
I had a half-hour schedule with for him to teach me. But I also know he's a Disney fanatic like us. Mm-hmm. And he says, I got something really interesting to tell you. And he's a runner. He does the Run Disney, the marathons.
Good for him.
And he also buys points on DVC. But he said, I downloaded this podcast because it had something about Boardwalk Villas. And I'm listening to this podcast, and I go, I know that voice. And he said... And then I said my name, and he goes, "Holy cow, that's Curtis from work." And he was very complimentary. He said he's going to go right out to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating.
Sweet.
And he was especially impressed with you.
Oh.
He asked me how old you were and how knowledgeable you are. But anyways, that's what we're here about. We love chatting with other geeks and that are crazy and passionate about Disney World. And we are so lucky today, Lindsay, to have another guest join our show, and it is a travel agent. So I thought that was very nice to have a real travel agent to help us.
Fantastic.
Yes. And on her website, she has a tagline: "Loving Disney wholeheartedly, planning trips obsessively." She was also featured on the Travel Channel as the ultimate Disney fan.
Wow.
And sounds like you're a Disney World geek just like us, Erika Murphy.
Hi, guys. Yes, I think I would definitely qualify as a Disney geek.
And I mean that term most affectionately.
Geek is a very affectionate term.
Yes, to us.
Yes.
But we're so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. My first podcast ever.
That's so cool. Well, we're first podcasters anyway. We're
what
just
an
getting
honor.
started. Exactly. So if you could, Erika, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what it's like being a Disney travel agent?
Sure. Well, a little about me. Let's see. I live in Indiana, which probably a little unusual for a Disney fanatic. Most of them are a little further south, but yeah, I live in Indiana. I have, with my husband, my 2 children, and we've been taking trips down to Disney World, over 20 years.
Got us doubled.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think our first trip was in the early 90s. I had been previously as a child with my parents. I don't remember it as much. I think I went maybe once when I was around 6 or 7, and I went again when I was a teenager. But my dad's idea of going to Disney was like, hit the Magic Kingdom one afternoon and then go to the beach.
Yeah, those people drive me crazy, right?
Yeah. How do you do
How can you do
Kingdom?
it just one day?
Yeah, like literally run the circle of the Magic Kingdom and exit as fast as possible. That's my dad's full experience of Disney. So yeah, it wasn't until the early 90s that I got to discover Disney World, as an adult on my own, and very, very quickly thereafter became certifiable.
And we know that's good.
Fanatic.
That's a good thing. And what's it like being a travel agent now for?
Yeah, it's a new thing for me. I have been a stay-at-home mom for 15 years. Your typical running the kids everywhere.
We know all about
doing
that.
all their activities, and I've been lucky to be able to do that and not have to work. But just over the last year, I sort of hit like a pre-midlife crisis where, my kids are teenagers, and I think it's like, okay, what am I going to do with myself? What am I going to do with my life? I don't know. What can I do? What am I
qualified for, right?
Qualified for at this point. So, that's when I started thinking about possible careers or jobs or whatever. And it was a pretty easy determination that it would involve Disney in some way.
Follow your passion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've been helping people plan Disney trips over 10 years. Well, it's probably been about 12 years that I've been officially planning trips for people just for fun. I mean, they may take me out to lunch or something, but never for, any monetary gain.
Yeah.
So,
it's the type of place where planning and help, you're spending a lot of money down there.
Yeah,
and
especially if it's your first time, you want to get the most out of it, and having someone who knows what they're doing.
Stumbling around.
Yeah, and it's funny how your name will quickly circulate through your community as the go-to person. It's like my sisters, brothers, aunts, cousins, next door neighbors going to Disney. Can you help them? It's like, well, sure, why not?
And I see, I was looking at your Twitter, I think one of the very recent tweets, you put in there that you signed up for the Harambe Nights, which is a brand new offering, I believe, Disney World.
Yeah.
How'd you find out about that?
Yesterday, I follow several different Disney news resources, the official Disney blog and also the Diz. So I had seen the advertisement, checked it out, and quickly learned that it was going to be something really special. So just wanted to snatch that up before it was all gone.
Can you remember exactly what it's all about?
Yeah, basically, this summer they're having these special Harambe Nights at Animal Kingdom, where it's a hard ticket event, where you will come into the park after hours. They're going to have, appetizers, like small plates of food, drinks. I think there's going to be samples of African beers and wines. And then they're going to have a very special production, Lion King themed production, not the typical Lion King show you would have seen before, but a special production in the brand new theater.
Lindsay's dying over here because she just got out of bed. She's a college student, right? And it's Saturday.
You woke me up.
and I just saw this for the first time on the internet and saw that you were going, and that's Lindsay. Why don't you just explain why that's really interesting to you?
Well, my absolute favorite stage show at Disney is the Festival of Lion King. And probably one of my favorite Disney movies ever is The Lion King.
And the music.
And the music, which I actually literally grew up with because my mom was listening to it while I was still with her in her belly and everything.
Is that going, did you, Erika, catch how long they're doing that for? Because we actually have another trip in September.
Till August 9th.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just kind of June, July on Saturdays.
Yeah. And that's the first time they're having evening type things that I can think of at Animal Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's been sort of in the works, I think, for years. They've been trying to incorporate some type of nighttime event at the Animal Kingdom that won't interfere with the animals and their habitats and sleep patterns or whatever. I'm not an animal expert, but I think it was something that Disney really needed because, as you know, it's a ghost town there by late afternoon, and it's they needed something to bring people into the parks at night. And of course, this is being a special event, a separate ticket is a little bit different. But they also announced the new nighttime entertainment show they're going to have as well. So I think definitely they're trying to kind of amp up the nighttime offerings at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah,
Put some lights in.
Yeah, we usually hightail it out of there by at least 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Doesn't everyone? Yeah.
Well, this week was an exciting week for announcements, and they announced, of course, the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train opening date.
Woohoo! 28th,
Yeah.
I think it was.
May 28th, which finally my anxiety has... we just made it in because we're going early June, and we will be there. I wonder if the fast passes. I don't know if they.
I was
even
like just about to check that.
We're gonna get.
You guys have evidently not been part of the fast pass debacle that happened yesterday.
No.
Yeah, as soon as the announcement was made yesterday morning, everyone rushed, of course, to get their fast passes immediately, and crashed my Disney experience for the entire world.
Yeah, right. That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it was a major crash. I can't even tell you.
I can't say I'm honestly surprised.
Understandable.
But
yeah.
it's still down.
So that means that they have it open probably for Fast Pass, but nobody was able to get them yet.
No.
Oh no, people were able to get them. It was working yesterday morning for a few hours. I think it wasn't until about 10 o'clock yesterday morning that it crashed. Okay. And then it's back working now, but it's very slow. And I spent about 6 hours yesterday trying to get fast passes.
Oh, right.
So,
did you try to get them for the first day of your trip?
Yes. I now have them for the first 3 days of my trip.
For the mine train?
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, what if it rains the first day? So I better get some backups. And then what if our bus is late and we miss our fast pass time? I need backups for my backups. And so,
no.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now I'm fully covered on my Seven Dwarfs fast passes.
Very nice.
Well, I don't know did I say it already? We just learned that we are both going the exact same dates for June.
Yes, you did.
That is really wild. That is just totally coincidental.
I need to work on that, try to get us our fast passes.
Yes, Lindsay will be, after we stop recording, Lindsay will be working on our fast passes.
Yes, I will.
And there was one more announcement, and now why is it not coming to me? Do you remember, Erika, the other announcement they had?
Well, the Polynesian had a big announcement yesterday.
Thank you. And what was that one?
Well, basically, most Disney experts kind of already knew this was coming, but the Polynesian's going under a major change right now, adding in the DVC property there, and going even further, they're doing major reconstruction at the Grand Ceremonial House, and basically the whole entire resort is under major rehab, and they're renaming it to the Polynesian Village,
right?
Which is the original name for the 70s. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh well, it's
retro. Original. It looks nice. I saw a picture on the website.
Yeah, it's still the Polynesian to us.
Yep. I mean, the most disappointing part for us, we love the Polynesian. We stayed there a couple times when the kids were younger, and that was our first deluxe resort. It's that taking down of the waterfall and the water feature.
Will they be replacing it and making a new one?
It doesn't look like
it.
They're
going, I believe, in the direction of opening up the lobby so that you can see all the way through.
Yeah. And
there's going to be a lot of glass, and where you can actually look out kind of towards the Magic Kingdom and the castle. And I think it's just sort of opening up the whole lobby because, they needed more space in the lobby anyway.
Yeah.
Especially when adding in DVC. And, I think they just needed a major overhaul. But, those of us who stayed at the Polynesian a lot, it was sad. I actually went over there on our last trip in March and took photos, and,
right.
I was like welling up. I was like, oh, goodbye.
Yeah. It's one of our favorites, and definitely want to get more DVC points when they start selling it.
Absolutely.
That is our dream, to have points there also on the resort loop, because we're owners at Bay Lake Tower. And I think that would make a perfect pair.
Absolutely.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about, I'll get right into the listener question. This is from someone in South Carolina, and the Twitter handle is edistopluto. Hope I'm saying that right. But a great question was how to do a 10-day on-property stay on a budget, and I got to believe when they say budget, they mean low budget, not high budget.
Yeah, probably.
Trying to save money. And so, Erika, do you have any thoughts on helping somebody trying to do, of course, an on-property 10 days?
Right.
And trying to save
a lot of questions would have to be answered. How many people are in your party?
Right.
That's going to be a major defining answer, because the value resorts, sleep a maximum of 4. So if you're 4 or less, then you're good. But if you're over 4, unless that 5th person is under the age of 3, then the value resorts are going to be they're not going to give you what you need.
We're a family of 5.
So we've always had that problem.
We've always had that issue. And of course, if you're talking about on property, you're going to be talking, you're on a budget, you're talking about the value resorts, which are All Stars. Now is the new one, what's the new, is that
Art of Animation.
Yeah, Art of Animation. Thank you. That one's, is that a budget value resort too?
It is a value resort. They do have a section, the Little Mermaid section, which is regular guest rooms, but most of the resort is family suites.
Right. Okay.
But they do have one section of regular rooms, but commonly over this last year, since the resort is so new, a lot of times they're blacked out from discounts and promotions, and that's typical, though, with any new Disney resort. Once the newness wears off, you might be able to get a better deal. But
so here's my take on this question. A couple of things. I think I just saw announced, and you guys can maybe confirm for me, the free dining plan announced for the fall and winter, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. I thought I saw that. I think that's a great deal, and that'll bring people to the parks for sure. And if you do value with the free dining, that's got to save a family of quite a bit.
Well, Disney's kind of reworked that just a little bit. Now with the value resorts, you get the free quick service dining.
Okay.
In order to get the regular dining plan, you have to be in a moderate resort or higher.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the quick service dining plan is great. We actually, my kids and I went down for just a real quick short trip last fall at Pop Century. It was just the 3 of us, and did the quick service plan, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Just going down for a quick trip, and you're not getting into a lot of character meals or anything, then it works great.
I totally agree with you. The food, I think, the sandwiches and everything you can really eat really well, and everything's oversized anyway.
Oh yeah, you're not going to go hungry.
You will not go hungry. Exactly. Even if you're on what's the next up meal, the dinner where you get a dinner and a lunch.
Just the regular dining plan.
Yeah, the regular dining plan. I mean, the food, I swear, especially if you go to a buffet and you have a big meal at night, you don't need to eat till noon the next day.
That's true. That's usually what we do.
It's almost too much food.
Yeah.
It is. It's a lot of food. Yeah. People always say, only one sit-down meal per day. I'm like, but you're already going to be so full by then.
I know.
The other
You'll
thing,
do well to make room for it.
Of course, the other big cost is tickets. And I know in our planning, I'm trying to think of the rule, but if you're going if you're around 10 days, and I don't know, you'd have to check the cost of these, but the annual pass was a good deal to get instead of, I don't know, it depends.
I think that's also we have the DVC discount too, though, so it's a little bit different for us.
But that, with the annual pass, though, there were times when you could get a good room discount.
Yeah, I think that does still hold for other non-DVC guests.
Yeah, they're running
typically as a rule of thumb, I'll say if you're going to spend 2 weeks in Disney per year, and use that room only discount through the annual pass, then an annual pass can pretty much pay for itself. But if you're just going to go for one trip per year, usually the extra cost of the annual pass is not going to offset the cost of having to buy the ticket. So for somebody like this, if they're going on a 10-day trip and that's their trip of the year, I probably would not recommend the annual pass. Probably what I would recommend is maybe do a 7-day ticket and then have a couple of pool days where, you spend a couple of days just exploring your resort, swimming, going to downtown Disney, which of course is free. You don't need a ticket for that. Building in some of that into your schedule.
Yep.
So you don't feel like you have to have a park ticket for every single day of your trip. That'll save them, quite a bit of money right there.
I think I just saw another promotion where they're giving an extra day if you buy 4 or 5 days. I forget what it was, but
yeah, but you have to have 6 or more, I believe.
In your party. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, you're right on top of it. See, I'm glad I brought an expert in.
Look at that.
The other thing I was thinking about was, I know some people buy these discounted tickets from brokers, and I asked when I saw this question, I asked my wife, what do you think about that? And she reads a lot of we've never bought them off the brokers, but she's read some bad things on the discussion boards.
You have to be really careful.
Buying
your tickets from. There are a couple that are reputable. Undercover Tourists, Maple Leaf Tickets. Those two come to my mind. That would be safe. I made a very unfortunate mistake about 8 or 10 years ago of buying some tickets on eBay and getting to the park, and they were completely used.
Ooh. So
you have to be really careful where you get your tickets. You want to make sure you're getting them from someone that you can trust. The Disney, they build in tickets to these packages now, like the free dining, for example, where your tickets are going to come with your package, so you're not going to have to worry about going out and buying tickets separately.
Right. Do you think the packages usually are a good bargain or budget thing?
I think it varies from family to family, and it depends on a lot of criteria. If your dates fall into the promotion, because there are certain parts of the fall and winter that are not included.
Yeah. So
you'd have to look at you'd have to look at the dates. You'd have to, like I said before, the number of people in your party, that could make a big difference. There are several factors, but yeah, typically if I'm dealing with just a regular family of 4 looking for a good deal, I would definitely start with like a free dining promotion because,
yeah,
money-wise, once you do all the math, the cost of the dining for 3 or 4 people in the room is going to be better than doing, like, for example, a room-only discount and buying your ticket separately.
Right.
But, it just requires
research,
crunching the numbers.
Yeah,
and
there's a little bit of research, and
yeah.
I think that's a great reason to use a travel agent.
Yeah.
Don't you, Lindsay?
I totally agree.
All of those things to answer, and now let's get into Lindsay's top 5 trip planning trips, and you want to explain these trip planning tips.
Yeah, and I think of them as more of a method that I use to plan our trips to Disney. It's more of a step-by-step process that I take that goes through all the things that I want to do and make sure I get them when I want to do them with the best amount of park time and least amount of wait time, and incorporating all those fun things. So with that said, let's start.
This kind of goes in order. So
yeah, it does go in order. So these are like, I start doing number 1 and I end with number 5.
And I think each of these require some extra explanation or opinion.
There's
so
we're
going to put this
in
into
between.
So Erika, just chime in when you're ready. But
Okay.
Lindsay, why don't you give us number 1?
Okay, so number 1 is deciding when you are going to head down to the world.
Okay, and why is that important, Lindsay?
Because something that my dad and I really enjoy, our whole family actually enjoys, is hitting those special times of the year where there's special events going on. And by that I mean there's the Food and Wine Festival, there's Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and Mickey's Christmas Party, and all those fun special events. And on top of that, you also have the room rates change during the different seasons, so the prices are different.
And Erika, when's your favorite time to go to Disney World?
All time.
Anytime. If you had to say your very favorite, most special time to go, what would that be?
Oh boy, that's tough because I'm a sucker for all the holidays.
I'm
So
putting you
I
on the
love
spot.
Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. I love Christmas and Disney. I love the Food and Wine Festival. I love them all. I guess if somebody just made me choose,
Right.
I would have to say probably Christmas is the most magical of all. But
so special.
But really, I mean, they're all great.
With a holdover to New Year's, we did that.
Yeah,
yes, we did that.
We've done the Christmas to New Year's time.
New Year's in Epcot is one of the best things I've ever done.
Of course, it is. That is probably the busiest time to go.
Yes.
So if you're looking to beat crowds,
well, and that's another thing you have to take into consideration. If this is a person who's never been to Disney before, that might be a horrible time to send them.
Yeah,
it's very
because
true.
they might get overwhelmed, or that might be a little too much for a first timer. But
I've come to this realization. I've been saying this to people lately, from especially the last few years, that there is no downtime at Disney World anymore.
Yeah.
There is either crowded or extremely crowded. And Christmas time, but again, I mean, you could, the strategy to beat, for me, Christmas, if you want to see the Christmas decorations, they start putting them up right after Thanksgiving, and there's a nice time.
There's like 2 weeks
couple
where
weeks
it's
in December, which is a nice
not as
time.
crowded.
And if if you really want to know those times, if you look at the DVC point charts,
it's the cheap ones.
The higher the points, the more crowded it is.
Yes.
Or just look at your child's school schedule.
Yeah.
If your kids are off school, chances are somebody else's kids are off school.
Right.
That's a really good tip. Yeah.
I mean, that's another good tip. I mean, especially if your kids are younger, we didn't take our kids out of school when they were in high school, but when they were in grammar school, if you do, you're definitely going to take advantage. If it's your first time, like you said, Erika, you're still going to think it's crowded.
Yeah.
Like when we were there last, was March of last
we were
year.
there last time.
We actually got into a couple in Magic Kingdom. We got into a log jam of people.
Holy cow. We got stuck on that bridge that spans the side of Frontierland. And we usually take that bridge because it passes all of the crowds. But something happened where it was, the CMs actually were like holding people back because people were walking over each other. It could have been really dangerous, actually, but we were stuck there for like 15 minutes on that bridge, like sardines.
Total gridlock.
Packed onto there.
And there was I think it was the same day because of the construction and the walls that were up in front of the mine train.
Yeah,
we got stuck in one there too.
Blocked off.
And that's surprising. That was March, which I would have thought was one of the lower.
That might have been a special case just because of all the construction.
So, Lindsay, what's your favorite time to go?
My absolute favorite, it's no question, is in the early fall, around September, October, when Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is going on, and the Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah, I heard Erika quickly said that same thing, the Not So Scary Halloween Party.
That's a great time to go.
Have you done that, Erika?
Oh, many times. Yeah. yeah.
We did that.
It's a great time.
And I mean, trick or treating in Magic
We were all
Kingdom.
Adults.
Yeah, it was a ball, and all the kids getting dressed up. I heard for Star Wars, that, and we'll be down there for the Star Wars weekend. Actually, we'll be there for Mark Hamill.
Yep.
And I don't know if my son Ben, who's 18, loves Star Wars, but I heard people sleep over like 3 or get there at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
That will not be us.
I don't know if that will be us.
I'll be looking at Mark Hamill from a distance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Camping out.
What do you think? Can we get close to that park on that day? Or?
We actually are going to that park that day.
Yeah, you could definitely. I mean, we were there last year, the weekend. Oh, now I can't think of his name, but it was a famous Star Wars person. My sons will be so embarrassed that I didn't know this, but we were there last year, and we saw the lines of people who were camped out to get the special, wristband to actually meet the star and get the autograph. But you can still go and enjoy Star Wars weekends without that particular aspect.
Good.
Of getting the autograph.
I think Ben will really get a kick out of that too.
Yeah, we are actually planned to be there that day, but we will not be doing anything Star Wars. We'll walk by and wave.
Yeah, it'd be fun to be on the outskirts of that, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, Lindsay, what's number 2?
All right, so after you've decided when to go, you need to decide where you're going to stay, because being comfortable and being happy where you're sleeping and where you're going to be getting up and getting ready in the morning is very important.
Well, I think resorts obviously are a big part of the Disney experience for me.
Yeah, it's after you're going crazy all day in the parks like we do, it's fun. It's nice to come back to somewhere that is your home.
There's always the argument, you talk to people, do you stay on property? Do you stay off property to save money? Do you rent a house? And when we first started going, Erika, I stayed, as I went to, in 1999, went to a conference and stayed in the downtown Disney resort.
Mm-hmm.
Royal Plaza was my first experience. And I thought that was great. So as I brought my young family down there, we stayed at the DoubleTree actually in downtown Disney for the first time as the newbies. But you're inside the parks and the cost was reasonable, but we have graduated and we are spoiled rotten DVC owners at Bay Lake Tower. And, but anyway, what do you think about where to stay?
Yeah, that's a big question. And typically I'd say the number one factor is budget.
Right.
Sometimes it's not as much as where you stay, but where you can afford to stay.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, I mean, Disney divides their resorts into categories of value, moderate, deluxe. So, if you kind of have a ballpark budget or a comfort zone, you can kind of identify that right away.
Right.
And focus on those resorts. Like, for example, if I know somebody has, let's say they want to stay under $300 a night,
right.
I will say, okay, let's look at the moderate resorts. Let's look at Port Orleans, Riverside.
Right.
To me, you're not really doing anybody a favor by let's look at the Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because it is hard. I've done many stays at value and deluxe, and it's a totally different feel. It's a totally different experience.
Right.
And you have to be able to identify what a person, what their comfort level is with their budget, and then, kind of go from there. Okay, do you guys like to swim? Do you like to eat sit-down meals? Do you like to be near the Magic Kingdom? There's so many little factors that just come into play.
Do you have like a formal checklist? I like the way you're going through this because it's kind of the same way I informally do this. I ask people what they like before I give advice.
Yeah. You know what? It would be really good if I did have some kind of
We've just inspired you. See, we're so geeks,
funny.
We record
I help people all the time, and I find myself just sort of like, my brain is like a Rolodex. Like, why would you stay on property? Why would you stay in a deluxe resort? Why would you stay? Yeah. And it's like, it's all in my brain.
Yeah, I totally understand. Yeah.
It's part of your DNA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so, it would be beneficial to write it down or maybe make a list. But for me, I don't think you can really beat talking to someone.
Right.
And kind of getting a feel for their personality, their likes and dislikes. I may even say, what other vacations have you been on?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
What did you like about those vacations?
Nice. Yeah, that's a good question.
Not like about those. You kind of have to get to know the person.
Yep.
There's a lot more to it than just price, paper and pencil. Okay. People have different ideas of a theme.
Right.
That feels good to them. That maybe somebody likes tropical, beachy, palm tree theme. Somebody else wants more of a woodsy sort of cabin in the woods type of feel. I mean, everybody has a different idea.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, you have to talk to the person, and you have to kind of get a feel for what they're looking for. And that's one reason why I enjoy being a travel agent, because if you're on, Expedia, nobody's helping you.
Right.
Nobody's going to ask you what your family likes to do.
Right.
So if you have somebody that you can talk to, that you can talk about your likes and dislikes and what you're looking for, the more likely you are you're going to enjoy your resort.
I usually, if I find people are looking, they're cost conscious, especially, which most people are, I do too also go to the moderate, especially Port Orleans.
Yeah, it's a nice resort.
I think Port Orleans, it's beautiful landscaping. You got that nice little boat ride to downtown Disney. You're close to Magic Kingdom, and pools are great. Mm-hmm. The food court is awesome.
The food court is wonderful.
We really enjoy that's kind of what I
definitely
tell people. People seem to really like that resort for the
I
moderate.
think it's definitely the most popular, and that's proved to be so because, for example, in the big release yesterday of the Disney Visa free dining promotion, Port Orleans Riverside was blacked out.
Oh, wow.
Couldn't even get it.
Yeah.
And I think Disney knows, and everybody else knows that it doesn't need any help. It's going to be booked.
Yeah. My wife, we stayed at the Caribbean beach too. Was talking about moderates, and we loved it. You made that comment about the beach theme, which that one has, and it's closer to Epcot, and same. I mean, the layout was almost identical to Port Orleans. I think people like that closeness to downtown Disney, maybe with Port Orleans better. But
Caribbean Beach is getting their act together because they went through a major pool rehab, and they've got a really great pool there now. Okay. And this summer, they're actually pulling all the double beds out and putting in queens.
Oh, nice.
Which is going to make them much more competitive with Port Orleans, because I think the queen beds, especially if you're traveling with your kids and they're going to be sleeping together, queen beds make a big difference.
And I think both those resorts have that little fifth bed for families of 5. I know they do.
Currently, only Port Orleans Riverside offers that.
Oh, okay, so
yeah.
For those of you looking like we did.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's a good point. I maybe need to check my facts on that about if they're going to be adding those fifth beds to the other moderates. It seems like now I remember reading something about adding fifth beds somewhere. Now I can't remember where it was, but
Art of Animation kind of takes care of that a little better now, right?
Yeah.
The family suites, those.
All right.
The only problem is with the family suites is they're in the value category, but they're not in the value price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So that adds a little bit of a. Yep. Maybe you have a family of 6 that would like a family suite, but maybe they're not as impressed with the resort as a whole. There's not a sit-down restaurant or, whatever they may be looking for. So. All
right, Linz, let's go. Number 3.
All right. Something that's very important to my family is what we're going to be eating on the trip. So my number 3 actually has all to do with food. And at this point in our planning is when we decide where we want to eat. And by where I want to eat, I mean both our sit-down reservations and our counter service reservations, because we are that crazy, and we do go through where we want to eat everywhere in the world. So.
Well, you have to. If you don't think about it, you're not going to be eating there.
Exactly.
And it's an experience.
Yes.
Each,
place. Sometimes we have we've eaten a lot of places in Disney World, and there's so many different options, and you want to try out a little bit of everything. So
we want to eat at them all at some point.
Exactly. So making sure that we get a consensus from our group. It's usually just it's usually just me and my mom and my dad who are planning it. So we decide amongst ourselves where we would like to eat at it somewhere new, and then somewhere where we've been before.
Our favorites,
and what we're going to feel like eating. So, we pick our restaurants. Yeah.
So Erika, what's your favorite restaurant and property?
Oh,
this is that's not a fair question.
That was a hard. That's
an impossible question to answer.
I have one I usually say, but yeah, there's so many good ones.
There's so many good ones, and I usually tell people, I may pick like my 2 favorite character meals, my 2 favorite fine dining, my 2 favorite quick service. I mean, I couldn't really say, because you can't really compare apples to oranges.
That's a great idea to categorize them like that.
Yeah.
That's like, for us, we, at least I know I don't like character dining, so I try to avoid all of those. And it's not because I have nothing against the characters, it's just when I'm eating and the food is good, I just want to be with me and my food. So, we try to avoid, things like Chef Mickey's or, the Garden Grill or this Crystal Palace, even though we do like the food there. It's kind of it's hesitant for me, at least, to be like, are we sure we want to do 2 character meals? Because I think I can only handle 1 on this trip.
Well, and I think that just goes to show your age and kind of where you are in your life. I mean,
right.
Disney's got restaurants that appeal to people of any background, age, family, situation, whatever.
Allergy.
And thank goodness they do, because if they were all character restaurants,
oh my gosh, I'd lose my mind.
Yeah, every dining experience you can possibly think of, they have.
Exactly, yeah. It's something for everyone.
I think we're really excited. This trip coming up, Erika, is our 25th wedding anniversary. We've got 8 people going, and we're going to do the California Grill for the first time.
Yes. Oh, you're going to love it.
We are really excited about that.
Brand new, renovated.
Mm-hmm.
Our favorite.
And it's right at home for us too, so we don't even have to.
I will offer my favorite is, I always say it's Ohana. And I've seen some polls out there recently that agree with me. Ohana is a big favorite.
Popular.
Although I'm a little concerned with the construction at Polynesian, what's going on. Oh, the one thing I wanted to mention about Polynesian, we were talking about the announcements. There was a grotto, which sounds like a new bar going on.
Another bar?
We like to have
We're already
nice
fans of the Tambu Lounge.
Yeah, the Tambu Lounge is a family favorite.
But I mean, another bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is actually already an existing restaurant in Disneyland called Trader Sam's.
Oh, okay.
And they're bringing it to Florida. Yeah, they're bringing it to the Polynesian, which is super exciting. Because if you go online and do any Google search under Trader Sam's, you could bring up all the information about the restaurant out there, and it's hugely, hugely popular.
We'll be doing that.
Yeah, so I'm sure this one is going to be a mega, mega hit.
Awesome. I wonder where they're going to put it. Maybe downstairs?
Yeah, I sort of follow the rumors about the Polynesian. I try not to get myself too worked up about it because there's been so many reports and so many rumors about the Polynesian. But I've heard that it's going in where Captain Cook's was. I've heard that it's going in where they're tearing down the volcano pool. I don't know where it's going. I don't know if anybody knows for sure where it's going, but it's going to be somewhere there at the Polynesian.
I'm so worried about the Polynesian. I know that it's going to be okay, but as it's happening.
Don't worry.
I know.
All right, number 4, Linz.
All right, number 4 is actually the most complex part of what I do when we plan our trips. And this is actually looking at all of the park schedules with my meal selections.
Very scientific.
So
here.
yeah, I'm looking at, I do this on my laptop. So I have a window with all of my dining reservations, the park hours, and all of the nighttime event schedules open. And I go through day by day and select which park has extra magic hours, where the closest restaurant is going to be to that park, and then the evening shows that are playing at that park, and if it coincides with each other. So it's
wow, you're very geeky.
It's quite
sweetheart.
a process.
Very geeky.
To put it in simpler terms, it's deciding where I want to be on each day while getting the most out of it without having to move too much.
and I gotta say, although you go through a lot of painstakingly in very specific planning, we usually are pretty flexible.
Oh yeah,
when we're there and go on feel, and I think that's important too.
Yeah, because something were to go wrong, there's always somewhere else you can go.
Plan B.
Yeah, exactly.
I noticed that even though you put a lot of work into this and you print them out nicely for us, and
I have them all on our smartphones. We all have a copy of our schedule for the day.
Yeah, but it's always you want to have a little room for, flexibility.
It's important. Yeah.
The problem with flexibility is Disney's making it harder and harder to have flexibility.
Yeah, this is the fear. This is the fear of the new computer systems, right?
Yeah, I mean, you now, we've all kind of adjusted to being locked into dining because once they implemented the credit card guarantee and the 24-hour cancellation notice on dining, you pretty much knew the next day which park you were going to. Yeah, you weren't going to risk paying the fee to cancel your dining reservation. So,
and that's for all dining now?
Yeah, every single one requires it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, that kind of took some flexibility away. Now with the Fast Pass system, you're picking your rides 60 days in advance.
Yeah.
Right.
So, that's taking away a whole nother level of flexibility. I can give you a really good example of that. When we were there in March, we had Fast Passes for Epcot one day, but we'd already been to Epcot a couple of times earlier in the week, and we got up that morning and the kids were like, let's go to Animal Kingdom. Okay, we'll go to Animal Kingdom. We'll make it work. Mommy will make it work. We'll go to Animal Kingdom. So I go into my Disney Experience app on my iPhone, pull up my existing Fast Passes at Epcot, and I hit that all-important, do you want to cancel or change your FastPass reservation? So once you hit that button, boy, you better know what you're going to be doing, because it's tricky. So I go into Animal Kingdom, I find whatever's left at this point of FastPasses, and I'm trying to find anything that I can get. And of course, by then, morning is totally out, so I'm looking at afternoon FastPasses. And it's pulling up, for an example, it'll say Safari between 1 and 4 p.m. And then I'll think, okay, that's a really big window. And then you click it, and you don't know what you're going to get. And then until you click it, and then it's like 3:55, and it's like, darn, I really didn't want to be here that long.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, they make it extremely hard to change your plan.
Yeah, that actually ties into my next point.
Yeah, it's really hard to change your plans. In fact, probably what we would have been better off doing would have been to get to Animal Kingdom that morning and just do standby.
Yeah, right. Get there and get the big one down.
There wasn't any way to make the change FastPass wise. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So we do have a little bit of anxiety with the new system.
The new system. I mean, Disney's, I know they're aware of the downfalls of the system.
The nice news is that you can
add a fourth
afterwards. Fourth passes, because we were at park hoppers too. We're notorious for park hopping.
Which is great. I'm just a little skeptical of what that fourth FastPass is going to be.
Yeah,
that's true.
True enough.
At this point, I'm thinking like Journey into Imagination,
but you don't need a FastPass.
No.
I mean, I'm not holding my breath. I don't think you're going to be getting any Test Track or Toy Story FastPasses.
No.
In the later part of the day. So,
but I think
it'll be interesting to see.
This actually leads right into your number 5, Lynn.
Well, I just wanted to say, I think that's what makes my number 4 so important, to know what you're going to do. And for instance, because when I scheduled our fast passes, which is my next point, I knew where I was going to be in the evening, and if the park where we're going to be in the evening had more headliners that we were going to ride, I actually scheduled the fast passes for that evening in that second park, because we do park hop. So that's just really important to know what you're gonna be doing every day, at least vaguely.
I think it's really important to prioritize what you want to accomplish, right? There's got to be a couple,
and just to know kind of what you think you're gonna do on each day. Otherwise, you might get blacked out with the new FastPass system. But on to number 5. This is the really detailed part of scheduling, which is the day-to-day schedule, which is actually what you're going to be doing, what attractions you're gonna hit, and where your fast passes are gonna be. And like you said, Erika, the FastPass system is different, to put it kindly. It really requires you to think even more than you used to about your plans at the park for as far as just which attractions you're going to hit in order. And something that we do is we like to hit those extra magic hours. So we'll get into the park right when the park opens and do the rides while there's no standby line. So we'll go straight to the standby line. And
that's gonna be interesting to figure out for the 7 Mine Train.
That's one
too,
of the
right?
That's something new that
we're worried about. That throws a little twist in how we figure things out.
So like for instance, on our first day at the Magic Kingdom, I'm just gonna pull up what we're doing on our first day when we're there in June. Is we do Fantasyland first because my mom loves Fantasyland, and that one has notorious long lines, especially for like Peter Pan and stuff like that. So we like to do that straight in the morning and not have to worry about it. So we're actually going to be hitting Peter Pan first, and right after that, we're going to go right over to the Mine Train with our Fast Pass. Because we're worried.
Assuming we're going to get a Fast Pass, which we got to do after this call.
Yeah. And then we're going to do more Fantasyland, like head back to Ariel's ride and Winnie the Pooh and do all those rides without Fast Passes, and then finally get into our other areas of the park where we have some more Fast Passes.
Well, so this goes back. I remember when we first went, and we actually didn't have a clue what the Fast Pass. Of course, that was the paper pass, and we were actually a little reluctant to use it because we didn't know what we were doing. But obviously the Fast Pass is the way to go. I've heard there's actually some lines growing now for Fast Pass. Has anyone else heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've experienced that. And when we were there in March, we actually waited 20 minutes in a Fast Pass return line at Pirates of the Caribbean. And the thing is about certain rides like Pirates where you can't see the queue, so we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into. So we go in the tunnel and we're like, okay, there's a line here, and so 20 minutes. So that I think was the longest Fast Pass return we had that week.
Yeah, and I think for touring plans, there's a great book we buy for
every year,
Mom, every Christmas, which is the unofficial guide. They also have a website. If you buy the book, we just signed up for the website. So a lot of our touring plans come from that information, Erika.
Those are the tried and true plans.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what their how they'll change their plans now, because for me personally, my way of attacking the park has completely changed this year as to what it's been for the last 10 or more years. We have decided to make most of our Fast Passes around 11, 12, 1 o'clock. Because like you said, if you do get there in the morning and hit the standby, I wouldn't want to waste my Fast Pass for that.
Yep.
So I've kind of got a new strategy. Mine Train, Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain, Fast Passes for those three.
Yeah.
But make them a little later.
Right.
Yeah. Make them more.
That's good advice.
Yeah. But it's hard because everybody's different. We're not rope drop people.
Yeah. we are.
Yeah. So for us, it's a little different in that respect, but it's kind of nice because as not being a rope drop person, we didn't get to ride, for example, like Toy Story very often. Only when I could really get a fire under everybody and get everybody up.
Yeah, that was one of the worst
early.
ones.
Still one of those hard ones.
Yeah, but now, I just got a Toy Story Fast Pass today for the first week of June at like 1 o'clock. I thought that was very reasonable.
Yeah,
wow.
That works.
Time. So that's nice.
Yep, perfect.
That's a nice feature of Fast Pass that I really, really like.
Well, Lindsay, that was a great list, and thank you for sharing there.
Yeah, I hope it can help some other people. With just getting that, because it's
your research.
It's a lot of it's a lot to take on.
Yeah, and it helps to make your trip as enjoyable as possible. Erika, was there anything kind of at that higher level that you can think of that we missed, or?
Yeah, I think you guys covered a lot of good beginning framework. It's never too early to start planning.
Yeah, good point.
Dining is 180 days in advance. So,
right.
Even if you think you might go, for example, next spring break or something, it's not too early to get on board and start the planning fun.
Yeah, I'll throw one out there for the DVC people that I learned from planning our trip that we're doing in June. When, for your home resort, you have an 11-month window, which is an advantage because you only have 7 months for the other resorts. And Bay Lake Tower, again, is our home resort, and we wanted to book. And the thing with most of the resorts, there are different point levels, and the lower points, they're nice. They're just as well. Like at Bay Lake Tower, they're usually the lower level, and they're what they call lake view. And we called 9 months out, and we were not able to get those rooms for a 2-bedroom, and they were already sold out. So we would have to go 11 months out in order to get that particular room. That was a learning lesson for us. That surprised me.
I love that lake view, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, it depends. Unless you might get a nice view of a tree like we've done a couple
times.
Yeah,
we've stayed on the contemporary side, which was the first time we went, and we were on the 5th floor, very end room, and then at both 2 bedrooms. And then we actually, the exact opposite the year after, on the other side, where you can kind of see Magic Kingdom off your balcony.
If you leaned out over the balcony.
Right? But there's a big tree, the trees kind of block your view of the lake there.
It was, all you could see was the tree.
But that was a little lesson. The more you can plan out, and, booking we fly Southwest, and we look for those rates as soon as they go on sale. We seem to get good deals on our flights and so forth.
We check them up to a month before. We just rescheduled flights for our other trip over and over again. We get so many. We schedule them, and then we look back and make sure the rates are the same. And if they drop, we schedule them again.
All right. Well, we definitely went. We had a great time here, Erika.
Yeah, I did too.
Did
It
you
was
have fun?
fun.
Great. Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad you had fun. We did too. We always do. And I'm going to, I've listened on some podcasts and they like to do the last questions with their guests. We've covered most of the things. I just want to ask you I'll give you one question. Can you think of your favorite memory at Disney World?
Ooh.
Wow.
I know there's
Or is
so
that a hard
many.
one?
She's been going for 20 years.
Do you have a favorite special memory? Maybe a little pixie dust.
Well, I mean, filming the television show was unbelievable. I mean, that would definitely probably have to be my favorite memory.
Yeah. How did you get in on that and what was that like?
Well, long story short, it was a contest online where you submitted, I think it was a 300-word essay about why you're the ultimate Disney fan. And so I just kind of did it on a whim. I never thought I would hear back anything. And
Nice.
a few months went by and I made it to the next round, which was submit, I think it was a 5-minute video of your family. So we did that. I still kind of thought, this is just for fun. I'm sure nothing will happen. And so submitted a videotape. Back then it was like an actual tape.
Right.
So submitted a tape and then I kind of forgot about it. A few months went by and then they called us and they scheduled the final interview or whatever with the producer.
Nice.
They had it narrowed down to like 10 families, I think, at that point. And so it was a long process.
Did you get a free trip out of it?
Yeah, so I'll never forget the day they called us. We were at Pizza Hut having lunch, and the guy was like, well, we just wanted to call, and we really appreciate you, submitting your tape, and your family's so cute, and your kids are so cute, and it was so nice to talk to you. And I'm like, yeah, it was nice to talk to you too. And we just wanted to let you know you're the ultimate Disney fan. And I'm like, so we're at Pizza Hut, and I'm like, what? I was
exciting.
I was trying to be quiet, but I was so excited.
Yeah.
I was freaking out. But
Nice.
yeah, free trip. They paid for everything.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Very cool.
They gave us like a big manila envelope full of Disney dollars. I don't even know how many were in there.
That is so cool.
They covered everything. It was amazing. But
Nice.
just filming, like going through the park with like a huge camera crew following you around, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I love that. I'm glad I asked. I picked the right question to ask.
Yeah, that was
Nice.
that was something I'll never ever forget.
Awesome. And I was saying this is our 25th wedding anniversary. I told Lindsay this weekend our goal is to design our T-shirts so we can all 8 of us wear T-shirts. Get to the Magic Kingdom first thing. We want to be the family of the day, the open the park.
Yeah.
So bad.
Well, that's what I want to do. But hey, this has been a whole lot of fun. Thank you so much for taking time to come and geek out with us a little bit on Disney World. Yeah. And so we found you online. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you online?
Sure, that'd be great. Well, my main website is erikamurphytravel.com. And from there, under the contact page, you can find links to all my Twitter, my Facebook, my Instagram, my Pinterest, my new blog that I just started doing.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes, it's super exciting. So I'm pretty much out there in all social media forms. If you like to look at photos of the different resorts, my Pinterest, I have like dedicated boards for the different resorts. My Instagram, I do live trip reports on the Diz every time we go down. So
Yes, I saw that.
I'm kind of everywhere.
Excellent. And we're almost everywhere. So far, we are.
We just need a YouTube channel.
She wants to do a YouTube channel now.
Yeah, I have a
All
YouTube
right.
channel. Forgot that. So, yeah.
Well, yeah. So, hey, guys, if you want to be a geek on our show, just the easiest way to find me is really at Geekin On WDW on the Twitter. And, we are on the iTunes. We got a couple reviews on the iTunes finally.
Woohoo!
They take a little while to get posted, but there's a couple there up there now, I think. But yeah, we got the Facebook thing going and Instagram. Now I think I just heard Pinterest for the second time this week. I think we'll have to get a Pinterest going too.
Oh yeah, Pinterest is big. You got to get on there.
I thought that was a ladies thing. I know the
I
ladies
think
are
it started out that way, and now it's just
Yeah.
Everyone.
it's everything. Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, it's a lot of fun. We do this thing to meet people, and we got to say hi when we're down. When we're down
Yes.
there at the same time.
Definitely, we need to meet up.
We're gonna
and-
catch up. We'll get
Yeah.
we'll get in touch with you, and we'll meet up somewhere. I don't know. We like to go to Epcot and have a margarita, but you got young kids. I don't know.
Oh, no,
I don't want to corrupt them.
You'll find me at La Cava pretty much.
All right.
every day.
So I think that's a that's a no-brainer. And so we get a couple of pictures and have some fun. But it's been awesome. It's a great weather here today, so we're going to get out there and have some fun. And everybody, we will catch you again real soon. Thanks, everybody.